From the beautiful Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, this is the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. We take questions from anyone in the dental profession and discuss what it takes to win not only in dentistry, but in life. Business, leadership, relationships, parenting, health and wellness, money management, nothing is off limits on the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. I'm Jason Tenori, your host, and have over 20 years of experience to pull from. Learn from my mistakes and let me help you collapse time so you can become the best version of yourself. Yo, what is up? Dr. Jason here, Dental Lighthouse Podcast. It's a dreary, I feel like I say this all the time about upstate New York. So if you're contemplating where to live, cross upstate New York off your list. Unless you have family here and it's a great place to raise a family and ... But anyways, it's it's the first week of May. And it's miserable outside. Rain. A bunch of my son's baseball games have been canceled. My other son's lacrosse games have not been canceled. They play in all types of weather. But you did not tune in to hear about the weather in upstate New York, nor my son's athletic schedules. You tuned in to either identify with something that I'm sharing or disagree with something that I'm saying. More than likely, a combination of the both. So. Sorry, sipping on some coffee. So today I want to kind of go to the mailbag, as we used to say, before all you Gen Zers and Gen Xers had email and text messages. I want to go back to the mailbag, and there's been a handful of people that have messaged me about the same kind of reoccurring issues, and I'm going to unpack some of those today. So the first one is my morning routine, and for the life of me, I don't understand why people are terribly interested in this. Your morning routine should be yours, and you should customize it based on what you're trying to do. But I also understand how sometimes, and I'm very guilty of this as well, sometimes we can get our creative juices flowing when we see someone else's document, when we hear someone else's system or plan. So with that context, I'm more than happy to share what my morning routine is. It hasn't really changed in like the last 10 years, little tweaks here and there, but it's been really good to me. And if you have a morning routine that you already love, awesome. If you don't have a morning routine and you don't feel like you need one, awesome. But if you're in between there and you feel like if you had some type of morning routine that could be tweaked or implemented, and you feel that it could lead to some growth, then consider some of the things that I'm about to say. All right, let's start. So this is going to sound academic, but it's 100% true. My morning routine starts the night before. And what do I mean by that? Well, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Again, you wake up whenever you want to wake up. But I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and people are like, oh my gosh, Jason, how can you wake up that early? Well, again, my morning routine starts the night before. So if I can be disciplined the night before, starting at around 8 o'clock at night, then I start the process and I know that my morning routine is going to kick off perfectly. So what is the night before for me? Well, right around 8 o'clock. I'm shutting down all electronics, television, phones, all of these things. I'm not eating anything past, say, 7 o'clock. And I go through, take my vitamins, brush my teeth, stuff like that. And I'm usually in bed no later than 8:15, 8:30. Now, again, we'll address all the parents in the room and oh my gosh, how can you do that? And we'll talk a little bit about that. But I get into bed 8:15, 8:30, and then I read a regular book. I don't read on my phone. I don't read on an iPad or anything like that. And typically I can read for 20, 30 minutes, and then I get tired enough where I fall asleep, put my book down, and away to sleep that I go. And then I typically get anywhere from 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. So if your nighttime routine is not dialed in, if you're having a few drinks, if you're watching television right up until bed, if you're watching television from bed, if you're scrolling on your phone, You may be genetically predisposed. You may have a genetic predisposition to have that be okay. Um, but when I was doing those things, it would lead to a poor night's sleep. It would lead to a restless night's sleep, and I would be groggy in the morning. So that didn't work for me. So if you're struggling to wake up early, or if you're struggling um, to get a good night's sleep, I would encourage you to at least experiment with some of those things. Again, kind of getting rid of the electronics, maybe doing a little nighttime journaling, reading a regular book in bed, keeping your phone outside of your bedroom. But oh my gosh, Jason, how would I wake up? How would I set my alarm? There's this place called Amazon. You can go and buy a traditional alarm clock and you can actually set it for a specific time in the morning. And when you spend $10 or $15 or $20 on that, you don't need your phone in the room. So maybe consider that. So, okay, I wake up at 4:30. So before we talk about the actual morning routine, let's talk about, well, I can't do that because of my kids. And again, I get it, right? So I have five kids. Three of them are out of the house. Two of them are still in the house. They're 14, and they have games and practices. And sometimes we don't get home too really late. Sometimes we have to eat late. Sometimes we have to eat on the road. And I get, it is what it is, right? You just deal with it. So one of the ways that Kara and I have dealt with it is we meal prep at the beginning of the week. And if my son has a 5 o'clock game, and we're not going to get home till 7:30, then we bring dinner. And we're the only two parents in the stands eating some type of chicken and rice dish that we made on Sunday. And the parents are kind of looking at us funny. First of all, they're like, well, what are you, 80? Like, you eat dinner this early? Yes, we eat dinner this early. The research is abundantly clear that the more time that you have between your last bite of food to when you go to bed, you're going to sleep that much better. Your resting heart rate is going to be lower. Your heart rate variability will be higher. That's a conversation for another podcast. But yeah, we eat around 5 o'clock, no matter what, right? If I'm watching a game, I'm eating at 5 o'clock in the stands. If we don't have a commitment, we're eating at 5 o'clock at home. And because I ideally would like to have a fairly long gap between my last bite of food and when I go to bed. Um, so you pivot, right? You figure it out. You don't just make excuses. You don't just say, woe is me. You don't just be like, well, I could, if my kid's schedule was dot, 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 then I could do dot, dot. You don't make those excuses, right? You just pivot. You realize that it doesn't have to be perfect. All it needs to do is be good. So you wake up at whatever time you wake up. Like I said, I wake up at 4:30. And then I traditionally have 90 minutes for my morning routine. And what do I do in those 90 minutes? Well, first thing I do is wake up, grab a glass of water, and then I sit down on the couch with one of my dogs. So we have three dogs, and it nestles up next to me. And I do some reading. What do I read? First thing I do is read some scripture through a Bible plan from the Bible app. Takes 10 minutes or so. Most of these Bible plans are anywhere from 3 to 7 days. So that's always how I start, time with Christ. And then I do a little bit of praying after that. Takes 10 minutes, right? What do I do after that? Well, I do some form of meditation. Again, 5 minutes, right? If I'm really feeling it, then I'll do unguided. If I'm not feeling it, then I'll do guided. If I'm really not feeling it, then I won't even do meditation. I'll do more box breathing, right? Box breathing is a great entry level way to get into some type of meditative state. It's a great way to practice patience. It's a great way to, if you're struggling to sit in the gap long enough. If you don't know what I mean by that, go back and listen to some episodes that we did a few weeks ago on if you're sitting in the gap long enough. Box breathing is a really, really good way to kind of do all of those things. I even do box breathing in my cold plunge. Um, so again, reading the Bible, spending some time with Christ, doing some meditation. At this point, we're maybe 20 minutes in, right? There's two books that I read every single morning religiously, both from Ryan Holiday. Both are daily devotionals, for lack of a better term. One is Daily Dad, and the other one is Daily Stoic. I have read these books over and over and over again over the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. Daily Stoic, probably close to 10. Each entry is a page, and the messaging from each book just totally sets me in the right headspace for the day. I love Ryan Holiday's writing. Daily Dad is even a book that my wife Kara reads, so you don't need to be a dad to read Daily Dad. You need to be a parent. But if you're a mom, Daily Dad would be a great book for you to read. Um, and then I traditionally read 5 pages of another random book that I'm reading, right? So I'm currently reading this book, How to Work with Complicated People. It's actually really good. It's the second time I'm reading it. I read all my books 2 or 3 times because I'm thick-headed. I can't get it done in one fell swoop. Um, so again, let's rewind the tape, right? So waking up early, Bible study, meditation, then 3 books. We're probably into it for about 40 to 45 minutes now. At that point, I'll read my declarations. Um, I'm not going to unpack exactly what those are now. I've done a podcast on vision. Maybe a month or two ago, it dropped with my servant leadership course, and we talked about this in depth. So I have 7 identities that I'm striving to be. And for me, it's a great reminder when I read those every single morning. Again, just reminding me of who I'm striving to be, reminding me of how I need to behave to become that person. So it's a great, great reminder for me. Um, then I will ultimately look at my calendar and for the day, and I'm just like, okay, what am I responsible for today? Just reminding me of any coaching calls that I have, any meetings that I'm going to lead, any mentorship of my docs that I'm going to be doing, any one-on-ones that I'm going to be responsible for. So I'll just lay out my day, and then I'll traditionally try to sprinkle in what we'll call the big three. So just 3 things that I absolutely have to get done today. 3 things that are in line with bigger projects, bigger visions. And so, for example, this morning, we're in the process of recruiting another doctor to our group. So, one of my big threes was to continue that conversation, answer her questions, and make sure that she doesn't feel like I ghosted her. We're also in the process of purchasing a practice, and hopefully it's going to close on Friday. So, just making sure that all my I's are dotted, my T's are crossed for that. So come up with whatever your big three is, right? And it's super helpful to write those down. And then you kind of make a promise to yourself that I will not go to bed until these 3 things are done, right? Um, and then the last 20 minutes or so, I'm really and again, I'm not trying to, show ego here, but I'm pretty darn disciplined about not checking emails throughout the day. I check them twice a day at this point. Um, and when I check them, it's usually about 20 minutes. So I will spend the next 20 or 25 minutes checking, responding to emails, responding to Slack messages, stuff like that. Um, and that pretty much wraps up, my morning routine. I feel really, really good when I've done that. That takes me usually till 6 o'clock. And then I go work out from 6 to 7. I've pivoted a little bit on my workouts. I used to work out every day. And then when you hit 50, the joints start to get a little achy. So I do some pretty intense strength resistance training. So I've got it back down to 4 days a week. So if it's a strength training day, I'll do that from 6 to 7. If it's not a strength training day, then I'll usually ruck and just listen to a podcast or something from 6 to 7. Get back at 7, and then take the kids to school, and then start my day. So, some kind of bullet points about what I just unpacked. Uh, you have to do you, right? Like, if you feel like you don't have enough time or capacity to do things like that, then I would argue that you probably have to figure out a better way to start the night before. Your morning routine doesn't need to be 90 minutes. But I do think that there's some value in starting with even 15 minutes, even 20 minutes, even spending a couple minutes with who your higher power is, spending a couple minutes maybe reading one page of one book, definitely spending a couple minutes going over your day, so you are not surprised by what's in your calendar, and then definitely spending a couple minutes saying, okay, for me, my big three. For you, maybe it's your big one. And that's how shit gets done, right? Like you slowly but surely grind and grind and grind. And then next thing you know, you pick your head up and you're like, wow, I've really come a long way. So I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but I have found that with that morning routine, I can get an unbelievable amount of stuff done. And I can get it done before anyone else in the house outside my wife, Kara. She has her own morning routine. So she's in the kitchen doing her thing. I'm in the living room doing my thing. But most importantly, before the kids get up, because as we all know, once the kids get up, like you're done. Like you have no more time for yourself. So, having my morning routine, getting my workout in, before the kids get up is super powerful for me, super instrumental for who I'm trying to become. So again, just a high level of kind of my morning routine, just to answer some questions that people have reached out to me about, what mine is. And is it good? Is it bad? No, it is. It works for me. So I would challenge you to come up with a morning routine that works for you. It could be 10 minutes, could be 2 hours. I have no judgment. Just maybe start something. And at its core, make sure you're reading something, one page of a book, maybe doing a little bit of box breathing just to kind of reset yourself and get in the right headspace. Review your calendar, review your to-do list, identify 1, 2, 3 things that absolutely have to get done today, and then go from there. I think it's a really good place to start. So. All right, guys, hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or want to dig deeper into it, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact information is on our website, dentallighthouse.com. Super appreciative of everyone that's been emailing and texting me, just asking random questions. I just love it. It fills up my cup, gets me out of bed to kind of collapse time for you guys. So please continue to do so. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you. That wraps up another episode of the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. You have a choice today. Choose to be a lighthouse. Lighthouses are powerful and steadfast. They are beacons of light for others to reference when life gets turbulent. Go out into the world today and become a lighthouse for someone. Give more than you get. True joy comes from serving others. Start today. I'm Jason Tenori, your host. Thank you for listening to the Dental Lighthouse Podcast. For more information, podcast show notes, or links to anything that we have discussed today, please check out our website, thedentallighthouse.com. We would love to hear from you. If you would like to get on the show, please email us at podcast@thedentallighthouse.com.